Hi, my name is Shane Gosling. I'm the Health, Safety and Security Manager for Coral Sea Marina. Here to talk to you about our extreme weather preparedness heading into our extreme weather period. I'm going to be talking to you about some policies and procedures for the marina. We've also got Trent Ridout-Allen, who's going to be presenting some ropes and the real practical stuff about how to go about securing your vessel in the marina and what to think about. For now, I'm just going to scoot over into some of our documents and procedures. And I just want to start with what you need to know if you're coming into the marina as a visitor. What is really important for us to get off you so that we know if something occurs, all your details are up to date. So just showing you my slide here, some really obvious things that are very important for our team. And this is all taken off your berthing agreement from us as well, which is how you begin your stay with us. So we want to know who the owner's details are, and a second, contact emergency detail as well. If they change, it's really critical that you get those updated when those changes are made. So just contact our office. Our lovely, friendly staff will be there to update those details for you at any time. As we head into an extreme weather period, we are going to be asking you, if it's not provided already, for an extreme weather contact. So that's somebody that can be here on site, and that's critical that they are here. Not in Mackay, not up in Cairns, but somebody local that if a system starts to spin up and comes our way, or an extreme weather circumstance, they can come down and do these necessary things to your vessel. The other points of contact could be a captain, it might be an operations manager, it might be a vessel manager, probably more geared towards our commercial operators for the marina. All of those contacts are really critical for us to keep up to date. The other thing that you will learn, if not already, is that your berthing agreement needs to be updated annually. It is a legal document. Our team will reach out to you heading up towards the end of the calendar year, and we will be looking for new berthing agreements to be signed if you are with us over that change. The other thing that's really critical, as you could appreciate, is your insurance policies. So make sure that they are sent to us prior to expiry, and again, our team will be reaching out to you approaching expiry. Just talking about insurance policies, it's really important that you know the wording within those insurance policies. All right, I'm going to leave that for you to do. We are up in the northern tropics, so it's critical that your insurance does cover you for up in this period. Remember, you are in a marina, so that should count within your policy to make sure that you're protected. So that's enough about the details that we're looking for from you on our berthing agreements. I will dive into just a little bit of the detail that's written into the berthing agreements. And the first thing is, it's important to know that when you sign off on a berthing agreement, you're signing off an agreement that you're going to adhere to our marina rules. Please have a read of them, all right? A couple of things that I just would point out is the insurance, as I mentioned, that is part of your berthing agreement. So you must have those insurance details and policies in place to maintain your berthing with us. The other section, which is why we're here today to have this chat, is talking about extreme weather preparation. So it's written into your berthing agreements that you will prepare your vessel for extreme weather. As I said before, Trent's going to step in and he's going to show you through all the ropes and the how-tos and a few practical things to do on your vessels. That's what you're signing off to make sure that you're going to keep up to date and on top of throughout the cyclone season. And when I talk about cyclone season, we're talking typically from October all the way through to April, even May is a shoulder month. These systems can spit up anywhere, at any time of the year, but that's what we call our cyclone season, which is a higher risk period. The other one is vessel seaworthiness. Plays into all of those topics, but we're now talking about is your vessel able to be moved when it needs to be moved, as in now? If your vessel engine is not working for any reason, your bilge pumps are not working, you can't start that vessel up and move when asked to, then we would not deem your vessel to be seaworthy. And that's part of your agreement with us to have your vessel here as well. So as long as we're ticking those boxes, happy days. I'm going to dive over into our main document, which is readily available. And by the way, if you don't have this already, please ask our team at the front, our guest services team, for a copy of our extreme weather preparedness procedure, and we'll send a copy out to you. It's also available on our website, and I'm sure we'll show you the link. All right, so it's important to note with our extreme weather procedure for vessel masters and owners that we have developed this taking all of MSQ's weather phases as a guide, probably more than a guide. It's actually, as MSQ will be calling these phases, we will be following suit, all right? So it's not us calling the phases, it's MSQ. Our entire business structure is geared around being a marina business, and it makes sense that we will follow MSQ as they release their phases, their phase warnings. So if we're looking at our document, our procedure, there's a first page. I'm not going to go into detail there. Have a read of it. It does just outline that your responsibilities with the marina. I will just draw your attention to the bottom part in red, which just highlights that marina staff will assist wherever possible, but it is your responsibility as a vessel owner to ensure that your vessel is adequately secured. I can't underline that enough. So please follow the advice that we're about to give about how to secure your vessel. And if you've got any questions, of course, you'll be coming back to us, and we're happy to have that discussion. Moving on and just looking at our next page, we start to get into our phases. So here it's important to note, and this isn't an MSQ phase, but what we're going to be doing as a marina operator is if we see a system that's active in the Coral Sea and it looks like there's a chance that it could be heading down our way, we're going to start to monitor very closely, and we might make the decision to start packing down the marina. Now, if that happens, we're going to start losing access to various things. We start that as much as 5 days out of what we think could be the outside chance of getting impacted by a system. All right, so we're talking about things like trolleys might start to be locked up, umbrellas will be taken down. The floating facility, the Ocean Club, might be locked down. In order to secure that, we will try and keep that open as long as possible because we know it's an important facility, but they're the sorts of things that we're going to have to start being ahead of the game on and shutting down before it starts getting too windy here, all right? So just be aware of that. So that's what I call advanced preparation phase. It's not an MSQ phase. It's something that we're going to start doing somewhere about 2 to 5 days out of a predicted impact. Now, at any time, as we're doing this, MSQ could then ramp up issuing the next phase alert. And if that happens, we're going to shift to that as well. So the next, or the first official phase from MSQ is our yellow advice. It's important to note that that's predicted to have an impact of extreme weather 24 to 48 hours out. Now, it's a range. It's 24 to 48 hours. It's always best practice to work to the minimum, so 24 hours. If you work to the maximum, you might find that 6 or 12 hours in, MSQ will issue the next phase, the orange watch and act phase. So always act as if it's the shorter time window and act as quick as you can to prepare your vessel. So in the yellow phase at this stage, what we're going to be asking you guys to do, and we'd expect to see it happening out in the marina, is you're actively on your vessel now and you're starting to make your vessel as secure as possible. Trent's going to go through all the things to do, but I'm talking about removing windage, starting to get all those secondary lines in place and double checking all of your systems on the boat. This is the phase that you're doing all of that on. We're not waiting until the watch and act phase is announced. That's too late. At that stage, we should be doing our last checks. The yellow phase, the advice stage, we want to actually enact as much of your cyclone plan as possible. It's also important to note at this stage that we're going to engage an external contractor to come through, a qualified independent consultant, and they're going to do a walk-around assessment of all the vessels in the marina. And we give a very basic score. That score, excuse me, I can't remember if it's 1, 2, 3 or ABC. I think it's an ABC, and the A means there's pretty much nothing left to do. The B, there's going to be some things are done, but there's a few things. It could be one thing, it could be 2 or 3 things that have been picked up on that we would like to see done or adhered to. If you're a C, it means that we're not seeing much done at all to your vessel, and we're asking you to come in and to please prepare your vessel. So that's a report that's going to be done for us. It's important to note that that's an external report by a qualified consultant. I will be emailing, or the marina will be emailing those results out to all of our vessel owners, all of our private vessel owners here. Please don't ignore that. It's important to act on it. And if you're not here, this is why we've got an extreme weather contact in this region that we've already obtained off you, hopefully, that we can then be in contact, or you can contact and get them down to your vessel to do those things. Okay, I'm just going to move into the orange watch and act phase now. It's important to realise through this phase, we're expecting your vessels now to be about 90% prepped. There might be some things that you haven't gotten to, and that's okay. Either you've got those in hand and you're about to get to them, or you've made a decision that you just can't and it's not worth the effort, and you're willing to take that risk. As long as that's not jeopardising another vessel or marina infrastructure, we're going to be fine with that as well. But please get your vessels as prepared as possible during this phase. This is as late as it gets to prepare your vessel. It could be a leave and evacuate now order could be issued at the end of this stage, and it's a 12 to 24 hour window. That might happen in less than 12 hours. So you need to make rapid preparations in case that call comes. As with any phase, and I didn't say this before, but monitor conditions as they change. We will be doing that as a marina. If you're a local, if you're here, or if you're on site here in the marina, it's critical that you're keeping up to date with any new announcements. So listen to all your emergency broadcasters, listen to Bureau of Meteorology, and listen to the marina. We'll be issuing various updates as well, but we will be taking those from BOM. So please refer to our official sources for weather updates. VHF channel 10 and 16 is also available to listen to. Certainly if you're out in the water and you're making your way into the marina, please keep a close monitor on those channels 10 and 16. Now, I will mention about vessels if you are out in the water and you've got a berth here to come to. The MSQ, the Harbour Master, is not going to stop you if it's too dangerous to stop you in order to get to a place of shelter. So the marina being a good place of shelter, that passage of travel is almost certainly going to be allowed to happen. We're talking about the red phase, which is when the MSQ Harbour Master will close the waterways. So if you're heading here and it's orange phase, absolutely. Even as we go into the red phase and we're instructed to close down the marina, if you're on passage, en route, and we know that you're coming, we're going to allow you in if you've got a berth to come to. Very important note, please don't be heading to our marina if you haven't spoken to us first and arranged a berth, all right? We're going to be busy. You can imagine in a time like that, all the vessels here, all the vessels that are out on our mooring grid are wanting to come into the safety of Coral Sea Marina. So please be in touch as soon as you can, and chances are you will have been ahead of this to make sure that you've secured a berth in order to come into. Now, the other thing that's going to happen through an orange watch and act phase is it is likely that we could be isolating utilities such as power, water and gas across the entire precinct. So if you're on your vessel still, things are about to get a lot harder, okay? So you need to plan and you need to allow for that to happen, be prepared for that to happen. The other thing that we will be doing is we're going to be closing that fuel wharf. So we secure the fuel wharf as well so that people can't come in and tie up to it because it's a critical piece of infrastructure and we can't have the danger of a vessel being tied to the fuel wharf through extreme weather. So we've got a few things to do with the fuel wharf, but please don't expect to be coming in and bunkering fuel when we're in a watch and act phase. Okay, so we're going to be closing down that facility. Now, the other important thing about power, and this is critical because this has happened in previous years, is that it's your responsibility to remove your shore power lead and preferably your hose from the service pillar that's servicing your berth. The shore power lead or the water hose for that matter, as we enter into extreme weather period, does stand the risk of pulling that service pillar into the water or breaking it. So all of those, it's mandatory, must be disconnected and stowed on your vessel. Trent will go into and about where or what we're expecting as far as storing things on your vessel goes. We do not want anything to blow off your vessel or to become a flying projectile. So please follow Trent's advice shortly and I'm sure he'll go through that. If your shore power lead is not disconnected, when we shut down the power, we will be doing a walkthrough and we will be disconnecting any shore power lead that's not disconnected. We will do our best to do that as safely and as thoughtfully as we can, but we cannot be held responsible for any damage done to any shore power leads or electrical systems if you're still plugged into our shore power. So please keep that in mind and please make sure that you unplug those as soon as you can. Just going to move on to the next phase now, and we're now getting into our red emergency warning phase. Again, this will be issued by MSQ. So if MSQ issue this warning, we're now looking at a closed waterway situation. No vessel is able to leave the marina. So at this point, we are 100% expecting all of your vessel preparations to be done. And please, I would absolutely urge you, even if the marina is not closed, I would like to see that you've got an alternative place to reside, to go to, and for you not to be here. Because if we do get hit by a cyclone, there almost certainly will be a mandatory evacuation and you're going to need to go to that place anyway. So I do urge people as much as possible in the red phase to have completed everything and if possible, leave site knowing that everything has been completed. If there is a leave evacuate immediately now order, that might come from two places. It could come from us directly because the marina, Coral Sea Marina, as the operator has deemed it unsafe to remain in situ, or which is more likely the case, is it's going to be issued by QPS, Queensland Police Service, as a mandatory evacuation order. We're not going to force you, we're not going to put ourselves in danger to go down and force you to leave your vessel. We are going to knock on every vessel and we're going to ask you to leave, and that is a mandatory order, if it's safe to do so. If you do not leave, I'm just going to leave it that we're going to take note of that and that information could get handed on, all right? The police may choose to come down and do their own walkthrough, but just the main point with that is to know that if it's a mandatory evacuation order, it's exactly that. You need to leave the marina. We will be shutting the entire marina down. There'll be no water, no power, everything will be locked, all the facilities will be locked, there'll be nothing here for you. So please follow that evacuation order. As I said, the port closure means that all the waterways are now closed. No vessel is able to leave our marina. until it's lifted by MSQ. All right, what happens next is our big unknown. It's how severely we may or may not get impacted by a cyclone. So we only know that case by case scenario. The last phase that I've got, which is still a yellow phase now, so that now the system's passed, we go back to a yellow phase and it's after the event. Similar to like what I said with the tenants and the commercial operators, don't expect that you can come running back to the marina. We do not know what state the marina is going to be in if there's been a mandatory evacuation. So expect that you'll either get in contact with us by phone, by email, monitor our Facebook, and we're going to be sending out external messages about where we're at as a marina with being able to open back up. We're going to do it in phases. We're going to inspect first, and we're only going to open each section up, each stage up, as we deem that area to be safe. So just get in touch with us and we'll give you as much information as we can about how that is progressing. If there hasn't been a mandatory evacuation, then it goes without saying we're still here, it hasn't been that severe, then we won't be having that last after phase where we're having to reopen in stages. The very last one, which would be issued by MSQ, is the all clear phase. Once that gets issued, that means that MSQ have already been out into the waterways, they've done their inspections, they're happy that all the infrastructure is sufficiently intact, that there's no hazards floating around that you're going to run into. Then we can open the marina back up and vessels can leave the marina again. That is issued by MSQ, the white all clear phase. So that about takes me through all the phases of our extreme weather preparation procedure. There are a few things left that I won't go through in detail, just some very useful information about who to contact, who you can contact, whether it be MSQ, whether it be VMR, as well as just in abbreviation, what Trent's going to go through is about how to go about checking your vessel, preparing an emergency kit, check all vessel and mooring cleats, check fenders and lines, bilge pumps, your communications, and then making sure that all your documentation's up to date. Actually, one thing that I didn't mention on, and probably sits in that documentation, we do this as a marina, but I would urge you to, once you've made your preparations, take documentation of it. And I'm talking about pictures, video recordings. It's going to help you if you have to make an insurance claim after, to demonstrate that you've done all the right things. Okay, I just want to also touch on some very useful resources that we've got on our website. You can navigate to that from the top menu through the stay menu and berthing, and down there you're going to scroll down to the bottom of that drop down menu and you'll see an extreme weather page there. Please go and take a look at that. It does have a lot of useful information. A lot of the things that I've just talked about, the document I've just talked about, it's all going to be uploaded there, as well as this video, I'm going to guess. And please, if you need any more information, always contact our team. We're happy to help. We can send out emails, pop up to our office, and you can also pick these up in hard copy. All right, that's about me done. I'm going to hand over to Trent. He's going to run through some really useful information about how to go about securing your vessel as we're approaching these phases. All right, Trent, over to you.
Hi, my name's Trent Rideau-Allen. I'm Head of Asset and Operations here at Coral Sea Marina. I have approximately 25 years in the marine industry, working down at Sanctuary Cove, Horizon Shores, and now up here in the beautiful Whitsundays. What I'm here to talk about is our expectations of yourself as the vessel owner, and as well as an understanding of what you can expect of the marina during an extreme weather event. Prior to storm season, please make sure that you have gone through all of your systems and equipment checks. Making sure that all of your ropes are intact and are in serviceable life. Please understand that most rope styles all have a different shelf life, and in particular with the Whitsunday's UV index, can deteriorate very quickly. There are multiple different styles of ropes that you can use to secure your vessel to Coral Sea Marina's assets. Please make sure that they are suitable for your vessel. 3-strand is fantastic. It has a lot of stretch, so when your vessel is being moved around by strong winds, it takes up some of that flex and doesn't have any of that jarring moment. Please understand though that 3-strand has an expected life of between 2 and 3 years. As soon as you start to see the areas starting to fray or holding very strong, it's time to look at replacing your ropes for that. Double braid, absolutely fantastic for day-to-day use and for use during an event. This has an added benefit of having the UV sheath, the black sheath around it, so you get additional lifespan out of it. You'll be looking at around about 5 years time for a rope of this style. Please also be aware though that if you have had a major impact on your ropes, whether that be from towing from a friend back from the reef, hopefully not, or through an actual weather event, look at replacing your ropes. It's a really small investment in looking after quite a large investment floating on the water. Where at all possible with your ropes, please try to use an eyed splice. This is the strongest form of connection instead of using a knot. As soon as you start to introduce a knot into your rope, you can look at reducing the strength of said rope by up to 60%. The reason why having a knot in your line will decrease the strength overall of the system is the fact that during an event, the pushing and pulling of that knot will create heat. Once you introduce heat, it will turn all those multiple strands into one single section of plastic, which is incredibly brittle. For vessels over 20 metres, we also recommend tying to piles. This is done by the use of our pile straps that can be purchased from the marina office. These are a 12mm Dyneema that loop around with added rollers so that it will go up and down with the tide cycle. Piles have the strongest retention of any part of our system, so securing to the piles is important for the heavier vessels. Please speak with the office to make sure that this would be suitable for you. When looking at fendering off your vessel, please be aware that in strong winds, fenders like these tend to be pushed up almost vertically. To save this, you can look at putting some water into the fender to make it a little bit heavier, or keep it just touching the water to stop or at least slow down that motion. To negate fenders being in the wrong space entirely, we personally recommend Pro Fender. We have this throughout our site and on our fuel wharf. Please speak to our office in regards to any inquiries in regards to Pro Fender. We can fit this for you, and it is the best option. Pro Fender is a closed cell foam that will hold exactly at the right space, protecting your vessel from impacting on the dock. There is no option for it to blow up in a wind or not be where you want it, even when you're coming in and out of your berth during your vacation. Now on to tying up your vessel. When looking to tie up your vessel, please make sure that there are redundancies. Your normal lines are absolutely okay for day-to-day use, but please make sure that you have a secondary set that you set aside primarily for these storm events. These should be kept in a dry, dark area to make sure that they are in peak condition for when they are absolutely needed. All lines should be doubled up. Those doubling ups should be going to different securing points. If your springers are going from a cleat on the dock to a cleat on the vessel, have a look at other options. You may well be able to use a Samson post. You may be able to use the rigging from your mast itself. Any strong connections to the vessel can be used, and you'll know your vessel the most. Lifting slings can also be a fantastic option for going around strong points like your rigging. This one here is rated for 3 tonne, and it would be a great option for an alternative connection point. When you are tying up your vessel, as I've said before, you need to make sure that you are tying to multiple sections across the marina. When doing secondary ties, please feel free to tie across the finger. When doing this though, please make sure that it is a secondary rope. By secondary, have some slack in it. This rope is there primarily that if one of your primaries snap, then this is ready to take on the fight after the fact. Also note that at no time is there to be any tying across the main walkways. The main walkways are to be kept clear at all times to make sure that we have clear access when coming down and checking your vessel, and also for the cleanup afterwards. Another thing to think about, please do not use chain while tying up your vessel. Chain has no ability to stretch, and we do not allow it. Also, think about where you are tying. The places that we allocate for tying of vessels are our cleats and piles. At no time are you to tie directly to the marina structures, pile guides, or any other area other than those. If that is found, we will be removing those lines and giving you a call to make sure that you can come back down and make sure your vessel is safe. If your vessel is in a sea pen, have a think about how that's going to look during a weather event and a rainfall event. Sea pens will fill up with water, so it's best to fill your sea pen up first and make sure that your vessel is tied up correctly in that way. For yachts, please make sure that you are aware of your surroundings. If you have 2 yachts next door to each other and the masts are aligned, during a storm event, there is a likelihood of collision between them both. Speak to the vessel next door and tie your vessels up correctly. If you can stagger them, have one vessel bow in, one vessel stern in to make sure that those masts don't align and the masts aren't able to clash during a movement event, please do so. Please also keep a good eye on where the system is located and expected to hit landfall. The wind direction during these times is critical in how you are going to tie up your vessel. The bow of your vessel is actually made to go into waves, into wind. Think about it when you're going offshore and into a 4-metre sea. You don't want to be backing into it. That's the same way you need to be thinking about tying up your vessel. Tie your vessel so that the bow is preferably facing into the wind or close enough to it. That will give your vessel the best chance at surviving with 0 damage during the event. Whilst in the marina, also think about the areas and wind directions where we will have the least impact. Luckily, here at Coral Sea Marina, we are entirely sheltered from southeasterlies from Airlie Beach Hill. Essentially, they'll hit that hill and kick straight over, across and out past our rock wall. Increased winds actually increase the distance out from the rock wall that the wind then comes back down and hits. Please be aware though, that some of your rigging, if you are in a sailboat, may be affected by this. Northerlies, unfortunately, is where we are most affected, and it's also something to think about when looking at tying up your vessel. As an added benefit to our guests, we will be engaging with Queensland Marine Consultants to survey every vessel on this site prior to an event. This is very quick, but they will be glancing their eyes over every part of each vessel on the marina. And from that point, we will be speaking with you directly. If it is to the point where we don't believe that your vessel is tied up correctly, we will be speaking with your emergency contact or yourselves to make sure that it can be remedied as soon as possible. Please do not wait until the last minute to try and get rope. All of the local chandleries will sell out quite quickly. It's a great thing to start around November, prior to cyclone season, to make sure that you have everything needed for your weather event. During an extreme weather event, please make sure that all canopies, clears and bimneys are secured entirely or removed entirely. This will most likely be a requirement of your insurer to make sure that you have the least windage possible. It'll also save in damage from excessive winds. That goes the same for sails and sail bags. All sails need to be removed from the vessel entirely and stowed inside. Inflatable tenders also need to be stowed on board the vessel or preferably removed from site. Another option is to remove the bungs, have the engine put somewhere safe and fill with water. This will stop it from moving around. It's going to get water in it anyway during a cyclone event. Please understand as well that these can be used as a fender between yourself and the vessel next to you. Position your assets so that there's no option, if lines do break, that you'll have any collision with any other object. During an extreme weather event, we do expect at some stage for there to be some form of power outage. Most likely that will be the marina turning off the power during that cyclone event. It is in everyone's best interest for us to keep the site as safe as possible. By doing this, we return all of the power back to site as soon as possible. Prior to the event, please make sure that your batteries are fully charged and you limit all of your onboard systems to bare necessities. Most likely to make sure that your vessel can keep your bilges running during the entirety of the event without having 240 support. Also, if you can please stow all of your power supplies on board your vessel. Last thing that we need is for your vessel to move during an extreme weather event and then have your cord fall into the water. If you could please stow, tie it on board and make sure that it's safe for the duration of the event. Also, when you're looking at the preparation of your vessel, please understand that water ingress from rainfall events can also be predetermined in your damage to the vessel. We recommend looking at something similar to this, a roll of cling wrap essentially. These can be bought from Bunnings or any other hardware store. If you put this over the top of your electronics, once you have your covers over them, it will hold them in place and secure them to make sure that they don't have any water ingress. Please also make sure that all of your bilges are clear of any debris. Last thing you want to do is have a rainfall event, bilges clog up with a zip tie that you've been doing some maintenance with, and it's now jammed that impeller. Make sure that all those areas are clear. Make sure that scuppers are clear so any of the water draining off the decks can go directly into the ocean instead of into the bilge where you're needing to use that critical battery supply. Prior to the event, have a plan. Have a think about how you would tie up your vessel during an event in multiple different scenarios. Make sure that you have the lines available. Make sure that you have the people available to tie it up. If you feel that the allocation of cleats on your berthing arm isn't enough for a strong wind event, please speak to us. We do have additional cleats that are for sale if you would like others attached to the marina system. Once you've done all your prep and you feel that your vessel is in the best place it can be for the upcoming event, please make sure you do the silly thing. Take photos of everything. Unfortunately, we are in a very litigious world where insurers want to know every last strap and make sure that you have done your part in making your vessel as safe as possible. These will also be beneficial to make sure that the insurer knows exactly what you've fitted recently in your vessel, whether it be electronics, a satellite system, or a new tender that you have stowed on board. Please make sure that your water tanks are full prior to the event. Depending on where your home is in the local region or where you've been staying, after the event, your vessel may be the best place to be. You'll have your generator for power, showers, and drinking water available. I really hope you found this information useful, and don't be a stranger. Our dockhands or even myself are happy to come down and talk through different options for your personal vessel to make sure that it's in its best place for an extreme weather event. for an extreme weather event?
Now that pretty much wraps us up. We're always approachable. We know we've been through this stuff before. The marina is a pretty safe place to be if everybody does the right thing. So you can rest assured, if you do the right thing and everybody's well prepared, the chances are very good that you're going to come through without any damage or very minimal damage to your boat. It is in the hands of the gods, as you would say. But look, we've gone through these before and we've come out pretty good. So I can rely on you to do the right thing. I'm sure we're all going to get through any event just fine as a marina. That about wraps us up. If you've got any further questions, you can email the team at marina@csmr.com.au or get in touch by the phone.